Hello and welcome to The Insider, a show designed to clue you into the biggest news, events and announcements inside the video games industry, discussing with you some things you may know, some things you may not, and the glue that holds it all together is a little bit of my own opinion. My name is Paul James, thank you very much for watching, and let's get off with our episode. So next up, we're going to be talking about Bethesda, the company that has, in the last 3 years, had a series of fantastic E3 2018 press conferences and has really elevated itself to a new level in terms of our standing, the way we perceive Bethesda amongst the large AAA publishers in the games environment. There's a lot to discuss, and we're going to kick it off by talking all about the sure things that we can expect from them this E3 2018.
Insanity rules.
So let's start by talking about some of the sure things that we can expect from Bethesda at E3 2018. And no surer thing exists than Fallout 76, a game that was announced only a couple of days ago, as of when you're viewing this. And look, we still don't really know a huge amount about what this game is at this particular point. Some are speculating that it is just another core Fallout game, others are talking about how it's a survival game, others are suggesting online, but the thing is, Bethesda's not really saying too much about it, so we don't really know just yet. So expect to see a lot of that. Expect to see Todd Howard talking about it somewhat. Apparently it's kind of in development with the former Battlecry team, but in conjunction with Bethesda Softworks. So I'm not exactly sure what this game's going to be. I don't think really many people are outside of Bethesda. So expect to see quite a bit about that. There's a few other smaller sure things that we can expect. Wolfenstein 2 DLC for Elder Scrolls Online, and an update on what is going on with Quake Champions. Maybe some details about the game potentially coming to console. But that all remains to be seen. There's some more 50-50 things that we're going to be discussing, and they're next.
Country roads,
But when the fighting is stopped and the fallout is settled, you must rebuild.
I belong, West Virginia, Mountain Mama, take me home, country roads, take me home, country roads.
In Vault 76, our future begins.
So next, let's discuss some of those 50-50 things. Some of the things we're not so sure about, and in the case of Bethesda, there's a lot of them. There's a lot of studios they've got going on there, there's a lot of IP that they've got, and not all of them are being used all the time. Chief among those is the Elder Scrolls. You can't really have a conversation about a Bethesda press conference without someone in the last few years talking about when is Elder Scrolls 6 coming? When is the follow-up to Skyrim coming? Skyrim is one of the biggest video games of all time. It's still getting ports even to this day. It was only last E3, and keep in mind this is a game that came out in 2011. It was only last E3, 2017, that we saw a port of the game announced for the Switch. We saw a port of the game coming to VR. They're flogging this game like it's nobody's business. But it's time to see what is next. We know that Bethesda is working on it in some capacity. How deep into development? That's the real question. But it's one of those things that you can't really strike from your mind when it comes to a Bethesda conference. It's been long enough since we saw the last entry in that franchise, and it's been a while since we know they put out some work on the Fallout franchise, so it's possible that we may see our first tease, even if the game doesn't come until 2019. Next up, I want to talk about Starfield. And this is a mysterious IP that we've never actually seen a game released for, but was registered, trademarked several years ago by Bethesda, and it's one that many speculate links somehow to the Fallout franchise, but could also just be a totally standalone new IP, very space-faring sort of thing, developed by Bethesda Softworks themselves. We still don't know much about that either, but when you factor that in with the whole Fallout news, with the fact that we haven't seen an Elder Scrolls, it's possible we might see this game next, and then that postpones the whole process for the Elder Scrolls 6 even further. We don't really know much more about the IP, so I'm kind of talking out my ass here, but it's possible that we may see this game finally announced, if it exists in any form, at E3 2018. Finally, Doom 2 is one that many are discussing in some way, shape or form. There's nothing to base this on, of course, outside of the fact that Doom, when it came out in 2016, was a massive success. When we saw the VR versions last year and the Switch version after that, they were also really successful. Id has struck gold with its reboot of the Doom franchise, and we can't strike from our minds the possibility that we're going to see a sequel very soon. If you spoke to me about all this even 48 hours ago, I would have had Fallout listed as a no-chance franchise at E3 2018, and how wrong I would have been. Now, I'm quite confident to say we're not going to see Fallout 5. That's a fairly sure thing. But when it comes to Bethesda, and they've proved it this week, there's few things that are off the table. We know about Rage already, and that was a franchise that we didn't expect to see in any way, shape or form, and it's one that I probably should have mentioned a little bit earlier. Rage 2 is coming. Fallout now has a new game coming. There's not many things that are off the table at this particular point, but there's a couple that I do want to discuss. Fallout 5, that's a no-show. We're not seeing a core Fallout game for a while yet. And finally, I want to talk about Dishonored 3. Many want this. The Dishonored games are really popular and have been really successful. They've never quite gelled with me, but the whole gaming landscape really does seem to enjoy them. But they aren't selling. And that's a major thing for Bethesda. And whilst they are a company more than most other AAA publishers who are prepared to eat the cost a little bit to develop a truly phenomenal game, I can't see them returning to the well on another entry in this franchise for a little while yet. Dishonored, we're probably not going to see anything from this year. So those were my predictions for Bethesda at E3 2018. We're going to get a whole bunch of answers soon. Hopefully they answer every single question we've got, but we won't know until 11:30 AM Australian Eastern Time on the 11th of June 2018. It's not that far away, so get yourself excited. If you enjoyed this episode, please consider liking, sharing and subscribing to the channel. All those buttons are down below here, including that notification bell, and that'll alert you to every video that goes live. Shows such as Patched, The Video Games Club, The Insider, Player 2 Plays, The Late Game Review, trailers, and much more. There's some awesome stuff that can only be found at our YouTube channel, so please make sure to go and check it out. For written content, visit the website at player2.net.au, where you'll find reviews, previews, opinion pieces, news, features, our E3 hub, and much more. There's some awesome content there, contributed by some of the best talent in Australia, so please make sure to go and check it out. We're also on Patreon, patreon.com/player2au, and consider kicking in a few dollars. At the lower tiers, you'll get early access to a range of different episodes. At higher tiers, you'll get exclusive episodes of Patched or The Insider. And at the top tier, you can join us in the monthly Player 2 podcast. So visit, see if there's anything for you, help build that Player 2 dream. We'd love for your support. And in the meantime, you can find me on Twitter at PaulJamesP2, the website at Player2au. You can get some rolling updates on everything that's going on there. Those are my Bethesda predictions. I hope you enjoyed them. Sound off down the bottom with some of your comments, some of your ideas, and until tomorrow, where we talk about yet another E3 conference, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you later.